Okay, one of the things I like to do is show the kinds of resources that we should be reading and the things that um, pastors have suggested to pastors. And at these conferences, I always enjoy, of course, buying books, and my family does too. So what I've done, since we're in First Samuel, I bought a First Samuel commentary series that I've heard the commentators refer to, but I never did find this series by William Blakey. And it's a very good. I've already read the section pertinent to our studies right now, and it's very good. There's a book that I've been looking for years that's just recently been republished. And if you're on some of the book lists, you saw an announcement of this book by John Quincy Adams, not the president, but the Baptist. And he talks about Baptists, the only thorough reformers. They've changed the title a little bit so it doesn't sound so bold and in your face. Baptists, thorough reformers. And this is kind of a justification of the Reformed Baptists and how the Reformed Baptists are those who are consistent with our covenantal theology and are consistent with our pushing the doctrines of the Reformation to their fullest and most mature expression in our confession. So this one's mine, and Pastor Lee, Pastor Brown, I got you one too. I found some good books that I've seen and never bought by J.W. Alexander. The Family. This is a good book, a nice hardback. Makes for good reading. There's lots of simple, truth made simple. There are lots of books by John Todd, and John Todd speaks to children frequently. So, Truth Made Simple, Nuts for Boys to Crack. I mean, what a great title. And then I've got some other books by this author that are very good. I adapt stories for my children from some of the stories in these books, and that's what I plan to do with those books. J.R. Miller, many of you know J.R. Miller, The Home Beautiful. This is a book that I always like to read Miller, just sections from time to time. I think my wife likes some of the Miller books. Octavius Winslow, The Precious Things of God. This was suggested to me as a devotional that I could read with my wife. We've occasionally read at the breakfast table, either commentaries or we've read the scriptures, but we've not really done a devotional like this, at least not in a very long while. So I think we're going to try that. If you've heard of J. Gresham Machen, he was one of the pillars of our of Protestantism. He was also a World War I soldier, and these are his letters and correspondence from the front. Being a history fan, I had to have it. Also, there's this quest for the historical Adam. I once read a book by a British man, a self-published book, that followed the generations of man through history back to Adam. Mike Gascoigne was his name. Very good book, but I found this is a little more scholarly treatment of how the church has viewed the historical Adam from the beginning, all through the patristics, through the medieval time, through the Reformation and the post-Reformation, the Enlightenment, all the way up to the modern era. Because if we give up a literal six-day creation, if we give up Adam, then we give up the entire Scripture. I've recently written an article, recent being in the last several months, about the importance of Adam. And if we give up Adam, if we give up a literal interpretation, the entire Bible comes crumbling down. This will be a very good reference book for me. If you know how often I like to refer to Pilgrim's Progress, then get ready because there'll be more. I bought another edition of Pilgrim's Progress. This is a very beautiful book available from who's the guy? What's the Mike Gadosh's company? Solid Ground. They have them in stock and they're very beautiful. But I also got Spurgeon's Pictures from Pilgrim's Progress, which is his exposition, if you want to call it exposition, about the various characters, scenes, and analogies, and the pictures from Pilgrim's Progress. And then Alexander White does this Characters in Pilgrim's Progress. It's another study of the various people that you encounter, like goodwill, the gatekeeper, patience, faithfulness, all those characters that make Pilgrim's Progress so rich. There's some studies here about that. Any book that is a fictional work, an allegory of Christian fiction, in which men and great men of the faith have written books about, is a book I think that we probably need to read. And so I know that my daughter is going to be reading Pilgrim's Progress this year, and I'm probably going to try to read it again. And it's just a very good book. If you haven't read Pilgrim's Progress and you struggle with the language, because it can be hard, there's one that Pastor Brown recommends called Pilgrim's Progress in modern language or in plain language. I'm not entirely sure, but you can ask him. It's a very good modern translation of that book. And if you don't read the original, read that one. If you don't read either, then there is a word-for-word audio dramatization that is also very good, and it's about 8 to 9 hours of audio, and I can recommend where you can find that as well. So those are some of the resources that I'll be reading, and those are some of the resources you might be hearing recommended if they turn out to be really good. I just wanted to share those with you because I'm excited, and sometimes sometimes we can get really overwhelmed by reading and resources, but these are good ones I think that I'll make good use of. Thank you for sending me. I always like to thank the congregation because it's such a refreshing time for me, and I want to thank you all for sending me and supporting our pursuit of this association, and it's very good. So that's going to be my last update, actually. I'm not going to have time to do one tomorrow because we're going to be on the road heading home, and I will see you Sunday morning. Bye-bye.